All right, welcome to Nake TV, and the name still remain the same. Nana Kwame Ishmael Smith. I will see my mama Kwaba Ediba Nake TV. So me din Edi Nana Kwame Ishmael Smith. Do not from Nake. Nene, your interview no, it's more like say you're better trained. So I'm going to mix the language, both Ghana language and then the foreign language, that is the English language. So in case you're watching the video, maybe I will say something that you don't understand, but I'll try to translate it for you to understand. All right. So, and your interview is a very special interview, and I have a very special people today in our midst that you're going to talk to them. And I believe by the end of this interview, you are going to learn something from it. As I'm ready, okay, I'm ready to learn from this interview. And in case you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, just click on subscribe and then give up your comment. In fact, this interview, you'll be expecting a lot of comments from you. You understand? You'll be expecting a lot of comments from you so that you also try to answer your comment and stuff. So your comment was like you hear or comment, you understand? So without wasting much of your time, I would love to introduce the guest for today. Officers, you are welcome.
Thank you.
And not only officers, and today to have my own grandmother. She's my queen. I mean, Nana. Your Nana, so Ewaha. So the interview is packed, a full pack. So I'll also love to welcome Nana Memo Aquaba. Maybe I show you have a call there. Yeah, that's to say, and your 2 years after a while also what me about now near Betri and Como any idea. First of all, the viewers want to know your name and a little about yourself. I mean, tell us about where you're from, your name and stuff.
Sure. Which camera am I?
The two cameras.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Hello. My name is Casey Kelechi Onibo. I'm Nigerian. I live in the United States. I live in Worcester, Mass. I've been a police officer for a total of 12 years now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'll come back to you.
All right.
And
my name is Prince Boateng. I've been a Worcester police officer for a year and some change now. I'm from Kumasi. Grew up in Worcester, Massachusetts.
Okay, from Kumasi. Okay, I'll come back to that side. And
yes, my name is Daniel AJ.
Okay.
I've been a police officer for 10 years.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
10 years.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
I lived in Worcester my whole life. I'm from Ghana, Accra.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And Anna, you love to know your name also.
Okay. My name is Nana Akosa Amwambuade, the first.
Okay.
Besianse Kenyago Kwemada.
Besianse
Kenyago Kwemada.
What's that?
It's in let's say it's in between my son and the quiet district in between.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's a kind of not too big city.
Okay.
But we are at ourselves.
Okay. One with them home.
Nana Kurodi Adams.
Okay.
Town.
Okay.
And
it's in Ashanti region.
It's in Ashanti
region.
region.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So we serve directly to Otumfo and Asante Hema.
Oh, okay. 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 So I mean, you've been living in Worcester
for 21 years.
Oh wow,
yeah.
21 years.
21 years.
So today, Nana is going to be part of me. I will be going to ask the question, and Nana also is going to ask the question. So Nana is going to be more like a host to me now. All right. You've been in the police force for how many years?
A total of 12 years.
12 years?
For the city of Worcester for 10, and before that, I was a campus police officer for 2 years at a college.
Okay, so let me take you back to Nigeria. Were you born in Nigeria?
I was born in the U.S., but my parents are both from Nigeria. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And Prince, were you also born in Ghana?
I was born in Ghana.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you live your life a little bit in Ghana?
So a little bit. I moved here when I was about 12 years old.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that means you know a bit about Ghana life.
A good amount, yes.
All right, then I'll come back to that side. And
yes, I moved.
Is it Officer AJ?
AJ.
Okay,
yeah, AJ.
Then I'll call you Officer AJ, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So I lived in Ghana till I was like 6 years old.
Oh, okay.
And then I moved, and then we moved from Ghana to New York.
Okay.
So we stayed with my grandparents there for about a year. until my parents found a place for us to stay here in Worcester.
Oh,
And then
okay.
we've been here ever since.
Okay. So coming back to officer, it's like almost most of the questions start from you first.
Okay.
Talking about, you know, where I'm coming from, in Europe, for instance, we have this kind of perception, this kind of thinking that in America it's not easy to raise a child, or it's not easy for you to give a birth here, so that later on your baby or your child will be somebody special, somebody important. And they see you that you were born here. You understand? How is the life like way back?
I will agree. It's not easy to raise a child here. I myself, I don't have any kids,
Okay.
but I do have lots of nieces and nephews.
Okay.
And yes, they're very active and everything.
Okay.
You have to have a lot of patience here. You know,
Okay.
we have a lot of good things for kids, but at the same time, it's not always the best practice to allow your kids to just go unattended out on the streets, because
Okay.
unfortunately, there are people out there who abuse kids.
Okay.
So you have to be very careful about who you allow to watch your kids, who's where your kids are playing and everything like that. And unfortunately, the drug epidemic going on in the city as well.
Okay.
You know, some people will be using needles and will discard it anywhere. And the last thing you want is for a child or anything to go and play with it, because of course they don't know.
Okay.
So it's a bit of a challenge to raise kids here. But my parents, my mom especially.
I wanted to
Yeah,
ask you
yeah.
about your experience.
Yeah.
Now you're talking about general thing.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you about your experience being a child.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever experienced that kind of being on the street? I mean, talking about the street life. Have you ever come in what do you call it? In contact with bad people to influence your life?
Yes.
Okay.
I used to live in Roxbury, Massachusetts.
Okay.
I'm not sure if you're familiar with that area, but it's
No.
you know, when I
I
was
only
growing
know
up,
Worcester.
it is an area that at that time when I was young, it was a high crime area.
Okay.
And there were also times when I was people would try to have me join gangs and, you know, do certain.
They were trying to let you
Yeah.
part of them.
Yeah,
So,
as I was saying, I grew up in a high crime area in Boston, Massachusetts, Roxbury.
Okay.
And there were times when I was younger or a teenager where people would try to recruit me to join gangs or
they were trying to recruit
yeah.
you to the gang.
Yeah,
Oh,
because
really?
you know, in the city, you know, if you're not part of a gang, sometimes there's not really much protection, you know, when you go out.
Okay.
It's tough because, you know, you have to go down your street to go to school,
Okay.
you know. Also times where when I was in school where kids would try to maybe introduce me to drugs like smoking
In school?
marijuana in school.
Wow.
In school.
Wow.
Or if not, trying to do like scamming job where like you steal people's like credit card
Okay.
information, you know.
So
all
they
that.
learn all this kind of stuff from school.
For school, yeah. And they
Okay.
were
I thought on the street.
I mean, it's mostly on the street where people learn it and bring it to school. So let's say if I learn something on the street and I go to school with Dan, hey Dan, check this thing out where I just learned this trick, we can make money from it.
Wow.
So then I bring Dan in and it's just street knowledge.
The street. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what happened that after they tried to influence you to join them, what happened then?
I knew my mom would.
Oh. So your mom was there
No.
to not letting you join the gang or what?
My mom was very, very strict in the home. So I knew that if I ever got in trouble, I'd be even in more trouble at home. So anytime someone tried to encourage me to do something that looked too good to be true, or you know, to get involved with the gang or the drugs or weapons, I knew that if I bring anything like that to my house, it was going to be wahala.
Wow.
And I also had a younger brother, so he looked up to me, and I
Okay.
wanted to make sure that, you know, I wanted him to look at somebody who was doing good things, because I
Okay.
knew that if I did something bad, most likely he would follow.
Okay.
So I didn't want anything like that, you know.
So you're more like you're from Christian family or Muslim
Yes.
family?
Yes.
Okay. I love the part that said the parents, you have a lot of Africans that have this kind of mentality. No, in Europe or in America, when you're raising a child, you have to be so soft for the child not to be, those kind of stuff. So I believe if your mom or your parent is so soft, by that time you can join the gang and stuff. I'll come back to you. Nana, or also a bit to me, I will say you. On say as someone walking, say a share for instance that you being a parent, also what I say, no, none enough for be ask them no. Who so or join here or be fear. The parents will not allow him, obey face the problem.
You won't take it easy.
Yes. I say a parent being here in like 21 years. Did you also face that kind of challenges?
Oh, it's true because it's kind of said if you have a child at home, you always think where you parents you raise from.
Okay.
That motivates you to train your children how you want your children to be.
Okay.
Because in case you are not there today or tomorrow, you're gone. They're going to leave.
Okay.
So you will be straight. My straight is that as a parent, back home is different.
Okay.
Because back home you can slap a child. You can put ginger on the eye, on the butt, everywhere.
On the anus.
Yes. Even when you go to school, your parent can report you to the teacher, and you face the consequence even at home.
They will beat you.
Yes.
Yeah.
But here, the law doesn't permit
You
some
to do
of
that.
them.
Okay.
So all the time, our challenges is higher
Okay.
as we parents here, especially people from Africa. And since the law is not permitting us to do all kind of stuff,
Okay.
we have to use some strategies,
Okay.
especially we women,
Okay.
because men, you guys don't have patience
Uh-huh.
to deal with all this, to see this drama. But if the child go out there, it doesn't end up good. Your husband will stand up one day and say, "Oh, look at your children." But when it got good, your husband will say, "My child, my child." So we don't want to see that. It can affect even our marriage.
Okay.
You understand what I mean? So all the time, the strategy that we use is make sure you provide the needs of the children
Okay.
first,
Yeah.
like food
So
at
that
home.
the children will not lack something that will lead them to go and
Yes.
Okay.
So that if he get all that he want, or not even, chances of going out there is little bit.
Okay.
And all the time you engage them
Okay.
to
You
activities.
engage them
You
in
engage
conversation
them in
or
activities.
okay.
At church, even school. Like, oh, you have limited time of watching TV from Monday to Friday.
Okay.
You have this. It's the beginning, how you train the child. That will, determine
The
the
future.
teenage.
Okay.
But all that you put on the ground, they go to school and they learn like what officer
Yes.
has said. But
You do
the
everything,
only
but when
thing
they go
that,
to
yes,
school, yeah.
only thing that will stop or help is that you listen
Okay.
and solve the problem.
Okay.
Let the children know that I'm your mother. If you go to school, you got conversation with your friends, come home and tell me.
Okay.
And I know whether it's that or if you are in problem, I will help you.
Okay.
If you tell the children like that, they know that no matter what it is, you will stand on their back.
Okay. That means
They won't hide
if
anything
I'm
from you.
coming in, it's more like you have to have conversation with your
With your children.
No,
The
a lot of parents
conversation.
don't even. Some of the children even they are afraid of to talk to their parents.
Yeah.
That's the
I think there's
friendship I'm
also-
talking about.
There's
Yeah.
also a loose term of the word. I know you guys can attest to this, where there's a narrative of disciplining your kids will get you arrested. Like if you're disciplining your
Yes.
kid, and your kid calls 911, we're gonna show up and we arresting the parent.
No.
It's not really like that. It's
Okay.
to a certain extent, you know. there's disciplining your kid and then there's abuse. So there's a fine line between disciplining your kids and abusing your kids.
Okay.
You know, if I've been to a call where the mother takes the phone away from the child because she sees something on the phone that's not appropriate. You know, that's a form of discipline. It's not always the physical, the hitting like back home as it is, but even some people go above the measures of hitting, which is you know, that's your system of going. That's fine, but kind of like hitting to a certain extent, it leaves a mark on the kid. That point is abuse.
It's abuse.
So there's a fine line between abuse and disciplining your kid.
You can discipline the child, but you don't have to abuse the child.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's just, I know there's a lot of narrative in the African community where, oh, if I discipline my kid, if my kid goes to do something wrong and I spank them, for instance, and they call the police, I'm gonna get arrested. And for that reason, if my kid is stealing constantly, I'm just gonna keep talking to him until he or she listens. But if you feel like you can discipline your kid, you in a proper way, you can. Like I said, there's a fine line between discipline and abuse, which is where we come in to differentiate. Is it an abuse or is it just a discipline?
Okay,
Yeah,
that's good.
Let me end up something. You see how officer is saying it's different between discipline and abuse.
Okay.
Back home, you don't have chances of getting a lot of stuff like phones, even sometimes more for families, TV, a lot of privileges that our children are having here. We don't have it back home. So the only thing that our parents can discipline me with it is hitting me or maybe putting ginger or something. That was discipline. But here, it's kind of, you can discipline your child without hitting, like that what the officer said. My child, if you do this and that, I will seize your phone. My child cannot call the officer and say, oh, I did this, my mom seized my phone, and he will come and arrest me. No.
Okay.
And I will let you know that because of what you did, that's why I'm seizing the phone. Change it and I'll give it back to you. It's not abuse. You understand what I mean? So through that, you can change their lifestyle. They will know, like what the officer said, if I go out there and do this, I know I'm gonna come home, my mom won't take it easy. Even back home, food can even change a child behavior because back home you don't cook food and put in the fridge. Like when a child will come upstairs, go straight to the fridge and get whatever they want to eat. No, you know that 6 o'clock we have dinner. After it's done. Okay. So they know they will be hungry. So whatever you teach you tell them, they will take it. But here it's not like that. They can go to the fridge and eat.
Okay.
So there's some stuff that we can use to discipline them back home. You don't have it here. But here we have more. Okay. Like, I will seize your phone. If you tell me, okay, I will do this. It's not
I think
it's not.
I think this topic is a different topic altogether. That I think I have to go to Nana's place and then for her to talk more about how to raise your child. Your children. Before that, let me come to Officer G. Way back in Africa, you have never stayed in Africa before. One thing I Ghana, no.
No, only just for the 6 years.
Oh,
I was there. And I was very small.
So, do you also ever face that kind of challenge that officer or faces?
I mean, in terms of discipline?
No, in terms of on the street.
Oh, I mean, yeah. I mean, like I said, when I came here, I was very young.
Okay. I
was 6 years old, so I'm not so much into the, the Ghanaian lifestyle because I was starting to develop. Okay. And the first place I end up is in New York.
Ooh, Bronx?
Yeah, I was in, I think it's Bronx.
Oh, okay. Okay, nice.
Yeah. So, being in a new environment, new place, you didn't know what to expect. Okay. But obviously, the discipline, I kind of had a little bit of that back home where I kind of knew of the hidden and all that other stuff. So coming here, it's like, whoa, it's different. Okay. It wasn't what I expected. But, I knew the kind of parents I have and they were still strict on me to still want me to do the best I can out of life. Okay. So, basically, and I had older brothers and sisters that I also looked up to.
Oh, okay.
All right. I have two brothers. Both of them are older than a sister. Okay. I'm the last born.
Oh, catchy.
So it's like whatever they did, if the person accepted it, I followed along.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, luckily we didn't live in a bad neighborhood, so I didn't really have to deal too much with picking up on a bad lifestyle per se. But obviously, as when I moved here, is when I kind of all right. I went to South High School.
Yeah. Okay.
And back then there was no walls, and there was always fighting.
Okay.
Or something on that line. I mean, so I went through a bad experience in high school, but I kind of picked up the way, because I went to school with my brothers, and they were very good, helping me out, going through, like, basically, if I had a question, I could always go to them.
Okay.
There was time where, you kind of fall in a bad habit where you kind of, like, join up with people and say, okay, with this clique. Everybody had, like, a little, I will say, little group that they hanged out with. Okay. That's what high school is. You have your friends, and then everybody have their friends. So in terms of policing, when I got up to the age of, like, I'll say my senior year, I started following my brother a little bit, which I'm not gonna get too much into the topic because we're gonna get there at some point. But he and me have both had the idea of policing.
Okay.
So
when you were young, you're having this kind of mentality that you want to be a police officer.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yes. So before I even became a Worcester police officer, I filled out about, I would say, 16 applications, all to send.
16
yes, we filled out everywhere. New Hampshire, New York, Connecticut. We even went to the West Coast as well. I even had an interview for San Diego at one point. Wow. When we were doing it. My brother was a little bit older than me. He ended up getting into the NYPD. He got in, I think, right after I got out of, right before I got into college.
Okay.
He got in. And then later in life, I became a Mr. Police Officer.
Okay, so I'll come back to you and ask you your motivation being that led you to be a police officer. Yeah. So, but before that, the Ghana mapa. 30 years in Ghana. Yeah. Is it 12 years or 30 years?
12 years.
Oh, that means 12 years, right?
12 years,
that means you know what's up. You know Ghana very well.
A good amount, yeah.
Okay. So Ghana, which side were you living before?
So I was born in Ashtown.
Huh?
But I was
you were Ashtown.
I was born in Ashtown.
Oh, okay.
But I grew up for the most part. We moved to Santasi. So Santasi is where I got. You
grown up in Santasi?
A little bit, yeah.
So, like 1 minute, tell us about your lifestyle in Ghana. How's the street life? Was it school life or mommy's?
So, for me, it was a bit of both. I used to commute from Santasi to Amakom.
Okay.
For the most part, sometimes, my mom would bring me. Sometimes I did it by myself. Up about maybe from 4th grade.
Okay.
So I'd go back in the morning. My mom brought me. After school, I went home by myself. So I kind of grew up fast in the street life and being able to.
By yourself, like you work or you go with school bus or what?
A good mixture. I take taxis.
But that means you have money. Take taxi in Ghana.
Depending on the system on how you use it. Sometimes you sit on someone's lap, you don't have to pay.
Why you sit on someone's lap? You don't have to pay.
You know the system. You know how the system is. Back then, I don't know if it's still the same. But
were you not afraid to sit on somebody's lap when you?
No, I mean,
without you knowing the person.
It was kind of like
getting a ride for free.
Yeah, it was kind of rush hour when you're in line and people see. You know how Ghana is. When people see a younger kid in line about to get in the car and they want to get home, they offer to, you can have a seat and sit on my lap.
For you, she goes, oh,
and but now I can say it's dangerous for you to do that.
I mean, back then it was too, but I just, I was so confident that nothing was going to happen to me.
And nothing happened.
And nothing happened, thank God. And nothing happened.
Okay.
I knew, where to get off. If I ever wanted to, maybe the fare was this point and maybe I had spent my money, I'll stop at this point, walk to this point. So I had done it for a while, so I was very comfortable kind of commuting from school to home.
Okay, so if I may ask this is a general question. Okay. What motivates you to become a police officer? What was like the kind of motivation that you guys were having to become a police officer? Since you even tried like 10 times or so, right?
Yeah, like I said, I tried for a while. like in terms of application wise.
Yeah.
But I think what motivated me because me and my brother had the same idea. Like me and him, like I follow him like a little puppy. Like everything he did,
you want to do the same thing.
We always wanted to do the same thing. And when I don't know what exactly motivated us, but I'm glad it did because for all we could talk about was we wanted to be cops. I don't know if we watch a movie that's what inspired us or what it is, but we just knew that's what we wanted to do. So we both one day just picked up and we did it together. And then as soon as he got in, and then one of my closest friends, Tony Manu.
Tony Manu. Okay, he's also a police officer.
No, he's not. But he kind of wanted to follow along because he saw how, we started reading the benefits. Like what it entails. We did our research, and it was something we both felt like this is it. So so when he got in, so when my brother got in, that even motivated even more because at this point I'm like I got to keep trying. So I ended up taking the test for New York again, and then I got in for New York. They did a background check, and then I was supposed to. The only problem with the New York one was I had to use because my brother was, I had to find an address in the city.
Okay.
In order for me to become a NYPD. Luckily, while I'm still in the process of doing that, I got the letter from Worcester, and at that point,
that you can come and join.
I already had had the address here. So I didn't necessarily stop my New York one. I kind of just played them along a little bit until I could make sure I could get into Worcester. And then once I realized I'm going through the academy for Worcester, that's when I told them I basically withdrew from New York and then did Worcester.
Oh, okay.
But my motivation, I would say, is I think it's something we had in our heads that we wanted to do in the beginning. I think it's something that everybody have their own passion. And I think policing was our passion.
Okay. All right. Let's go for commercial break. Let's take some water, and then you'll be back. All right. I will say for me, Messiah, I'm Mama Kwaba at the Bana KTV. So I welcome each and everyone. In case you have not subscribed, please do so. Subscribe and then share the video. And I believe, you guys are learning something from what you are learning here. I'm learning. I believe you two are learning. And a special thanks to our producers. They are working massive. Nana, what do you want to teach you? About so. Never the question of what motivates you to become a police officer and stuff. But you were saying something about Ghana. Ghana now, for now, so and more. No, lifestyle, not to say. Because before I would be there, I always say, now I say, I saw the crow.
I mean, a little bit.
Okay.
But the way most of my friends lived, no more tea. Baby, I'm no more school area, no more tea. I'm a coincide.
Okay.
And so, me and I take a little further out. And for the most part, I'm a post school, I'll hang out with them. You better use scanner to be before for an answer. Say, I had money.
The money for transportation. You use the money.
I was a child, and you know what I mean. In the moment,
the moment you have the money, you use the money for food.
Sometimes yes, and sometimes I have enough for transportation for fear. But for the most part, I think maybe after a year of just taking transportation back home, and then I started catching on. Say, for the most part. The back before car, small boy. So now, about a year in, I kind of figured that system out.
Okay.
And so sometimes
that's your plan.
That's right? Sometimes I was, but I always left enough in case that didn't work out. I had money for transportation.
Okay.
So if let's say if today someone takes me on, I save my money. I get home, I let my mom know. Say and there's my transportation scanning. I say okay, keep it for a China or something like that.
Okay.
And I started catching on the system on what time I should be there, what time I should. So it was It was a it was a thing that was working out, and I also got to meet Mami Shian Kofo Bebre.
Okay.
Nipa Bebre bi o house Ghana o shia panyi bi a obetu say you say Jerome school say ni say for the most part. Nipa bebre omutume for all the time.
Why sitting on their lives? They'll be advising you.
Yeah, it be sometimes you delay mukura kofro car obi who social school uniform, you who go school with your hand.
Then you were lucky because I think most of the people, a lot of them will be saying again. The thing you bit my quack share any paper so. Now I hard ya brother me more cotton say we crowd we jiska waiting their foca, you know.
Yeah,
that's kind of
for me and that those kind of things. Maybe I'm a ball pa.
Oh, okay.
And me pon this and be no be back come it.
Okay.
Because when you say me do for time say na me ko ball. And sometimes cry so Ghana the you say ball there.
Yeah.
Sometimes cry me do for me run me ho.
We need the crowd
na me ko. And those things, you know, they didn't really sit with me as far as said we say but you go turn way and I say you say you go first come free hand and you go we be free baby. Those things, you know, never sat with me because me now me ball pa auntie. Me pon imagine me new idea back so.
Okay.
So say me do especially Fridays me pon me new idea back so.
But you know say most of Onkola or movie say wow tena Kumasi or Washtown and then you live in Santana and most of them no you never America. So America there, when you go to America, it's a gangster life, you know, you know, what's up, yeah, you know, this kind of lifestyle. And you being like 12 years or 13 years that you came to America, Oba tried to be a gangster.
So, me, the part about me, the said when I was coming, I'm a sort of
Oh, okay.
So when I was coming, one thing I kept remembering was, you know, my hope, and I'm a bush and phone now. So one thing they kept telling me, and they said, I had them say there, in your case, I direct so for a long time.
Okay.
You know, ultimately trouble, be I trouble, I've had record so for a long time.
Okay.
Not when it comes to arguments, win, I was always involved in things like that. But I had a good foundation, like my mom, my mom, and aunties, they were all kind of just watched me.
Okay.
You know, they all kept
an eye on me. They were watching you. Yeah.
My bedroom, I had a good relationship with my name for the most part. The bush, you know, were the only member I would bet. For the most part, at that point in my life, me and penny member.
Obviously, they be a beckham.
Yeah, but your family mostly it was kind of like everything he did. He kind of showed me, say, okay, me say. He had no choice but to show me because we are me and penny member.
Oh, okay.
Know? And it kind of got us closer to a point that now, as you say, I'll be here for.
So your uncle is also here?
Yeah, he's a detective for.
So your uncle is also a police officer?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
So through him, I got motivated. Through Casey, through him, I knew Casey.
Oh,
and
okay.
Through Casey, I got motivated because, seeing them constantly talk about work, talk about, the difference they make in each day, each of their patrol when they will patrol. Those things, those stories,
So that's where you got your motivation.
Yeah, it's kind of just draw my attention to it more and more.
Okay. All right. We say, and then come on, come on, it's a very day, but I'll try and then make sure that the questions that I'm going to ask will not be like that long, so that the conversation will not be. Being the senior among you here, right? Okay. Okay. You too. Do you also have a family member? They are also into the police force.
No, I am the only one.
You are the only one.
Only one.
And what was the motivation that motivates you for you to be a police officer?
Interesting thing is when I was growing up, being a police officer wasn't in my radar.
Okay.
Growing up, I had ideas that I was like gonna be involved in sports. That's what I thought I was gonna do for my entire life. Until I realized that there's not really much money unless you get into the professional level. So when I moved from Boston to Worcester, that's when I was working. I was living on my own, and I was working as a security guard.
Okay.
And I was undecided in college. I was still trying to figure out, okay, I'm here. I can't keep on wasting my own money because I'm paying for myself in college. I need to figure out a major to do. and I kept on interacting with a police officer as a security guard who kept coming down, and he was like very persistent and telling me, hey, you know, you seem like a good kid. Have you thought of being a police officer? And initially, I always brushed him off. I said, no, that's not really what I want to do. But like I said, he kept coming back.
Is it a white or black?
He was a white guy. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he worked for the same police department that we all work in now.
Okay.
And he's a big boss now. But
so he was the motivator.
The one, yeah, he kept on, you know, encouraging me to apply. When I finally did, was like, you know what, I'll take the exam. I'll do what I can. And it took me a long time. The process takes a long time to be a police officer. It took me 5 years to get in. And then
5 years.
5 years, yeah, to get in. But once I was in, and you know, I was happy because I had worked hard, and you know, everything was finally paying off. And I'm here now, and I'm trying to do the same thing to, you know, other people. When I see something in somebody who I think, okay, this person seems like they have a good personality, I try to encourage them to see, like, hey, you know, if you're not doing anything else, or if you feel like you're confused, you know, at least try it out. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But
I also wanted to ask. I'm just trying to make sure that the conversation that belong. Nana, I'm going to wait me. I will say a question. To join the police force, let me use the word force. It is that difficult because looking at the Worcester police, the police department, or
yes,
can I use the word department, right?
Yeah, yes.
We don't see a lot of black people or other race in police institution. But I think Worcester. Okay, I think Worcester we have a lot of police models.
Yeah.
So, but you don't see blacks.
Yeah.
What is the problem here? My blacks, you know, that police force, you know, and if somebody also want to join, what is the process?
I think that for the most part, it's not said there's a restriction or anything like that. KC does a good job of trying to bring more Tuntum for.
Okay.
But it's tough set.
That's KC here,
Just
right?
KC, yeah.
Okay.
It's tough set to get because Obia Jane say once Obia think police are Jane say you be Kuwana say you be Botu or whatever the case is. And most people are not really focused on it. And Obia, so I know most of the viewers can attest to it. Obakro one of the jobs they as soon as medical field, medical field, you know, but it's not as it's scary and stuff like that, but about I think for the most part there's not a lot of knowledge on how to apply. You know, most people think for the application for or not go interview it.
Yeah, that's what me myself, that's what I'm thinking. Maybe it's online that you go and
but it's much more to it. There's no restrictions. KC, like I said, KC does a good job of going to high schools, you know, going to career fairs to raise more awareness for Tuntum for. But there's the idea of the medical field. It's not a common job. What a Tuntum for, especially Africans.
Okay.
And yet, job I don't know if your police system or will be happy to be police and I said whatever the case is.
I don't know.
It's just a common thing I would say. Maybe I cry, you know. What is it? Be police, be a doctor, nurse, engineer, those type of jobs. You know, you come as a shade too much into your heart, so be break you off. You know that road.
Yeah. So officer, to your side also. Nana, I think Nana asked me one question that I was speaking to Nana yesterday also. You asked me one question, but I forgot the question about the police.
Me, my dear, no. Say, me back over for na me buttery.
Okay.
Through a tribune, na me di home, mammy, na me di share officer so family.
Oh, okay. So you know the family.
We say, no, we are almost like from the same area.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, go for mention. I listen to more problems, especially Matana Chakra. Now, Ubi Frigana ba no about mention. It was a mention me try my best to say the minimum maternity.
Okay.
Fast a dreamer, Tintino, me be and go on na me bisa they do my pen na person ye obu ha nkofo bebre ba me nchen they know say be anke betima ye police officer but the meeting ye say if you are not born here they will include you. It's not like army the omo here nkofo bebre.
Okay.
So
that's what you've been hearing from people.
Because me cry me ba ha young kakra. Yeah, na me ngoye na me ye around 22 or 20.
Yeah, well, okay,
20,
then I will
21.
ask the same question.
Enka
The
me
age.
go join because na I to say me fit. So I say yes. And so now I say oh ya ngo ha untimi enko join police.
Okay, so officer, what Nana is saying that a lot of people have been saying that when you are not born here in America, you can't join the police force.
Join.
And then the age, I don't know.
The age.
Can you explain a little bit?
Sure.
The age.
I get this question a lot. So, yes, you have to be a citizen. You don't have to be born in the United States.
Okay.
So if you were born outside the U.S., but you become naturalized as a citizen by going through the process, then you can become a police officer. Okay. And yes, there is an age restriction. You have to be between the age of 19 to currently, right now, it's 32. They're trying to increase it to 40 years old.
From 19 to 30.
32 years old.
Okay.
And on top of that, you have to have a driver's license, and you also have to be a resident of the city of Worcester for at least 1 year prior to taking the exam.
Okay.
So usually, sometimes it's either the age or the residency that throws people off. But once you gain those things, or if you fall within the threshold of the age, and you also are a citizen, you have a license and everything, you can apply to take their written exam.
So if, for instance, if somebody has like green card for like 10 years and the person has been living in Worcester for maybe 5 years, or is it possible for the person to also apply the police force?
If you have your green card and you're
Like
you're
10
in the
years,
process
yeah.
of trying to get your citizenship, and it's on the way, then yes. But if all you have is the green card, then no. You need to have a citizenship.
So it's not like more like the military that I think the military or one you
No, military don't. I think if so, I think they're changing it. But
they're changing it, yeah.
And officer Mpacho, another question. So you see how you guys are big and maybe I'm a smallish. Maybe I weigh like maybe 135, 120, and I'm not tall. How can is it qualify me to be part of it?
Size,
Your
weight and matter.
no.
Oh, okay.
As long as you
exams.
can,
Or pass physical.
So you also do the exams?
Yes, sir.
Or pass exam.
What kind of exam? Is it writing exam?
you know, testing is just a rating test. Or pass
very basic.
very basic
Oh, okay.
questions. It's just personality of who you
Okay.
are.
Okay.
Or pass it and on now pass it physical. Sir. You can be 110 pounds. You can be 4'2".
Oh, so it doesn't matter your
Doesn't
height
matter, okay.
and
No. As long as you can do the run within under a certain time, you can do the push-ups, you can do the plank.
Pressure.
Push
Yeah,
up.
push up.
Oh.
Also, it's more like training.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that's
okay.
that's the requirement.
Okay.
I would say UBT and sign away to me a remedy. Those things, not to me those things now weight or height, none of that matters. What to me pass that thing, those things now going forward now.
Yeah.
Because we can train you to defend yourself.
Okay.
Okay. There's lots of things that we train you how to do. It's not like years ago as a police, you have to be big and strong. No. Very rarely do we try to use force on people unless we have to. A lot of times it's just de-escalation, using your voice to communicate with people to try to see if you can resolve the issue as opposed to trying to use force. It's a different age now. And even crime has evolved differently too. You know, you can steal someone's money without having to even touch them, look at them, even live in the same area, you know? So it's always good to have that skill with computers and everything like that so we can catch people before they try to victimize other people by stealing their personal identity.
So another question, I think Officer J is not talking.
I'm talking.
So what are the plans so far? I think when you were talking, you said officer is trying to, let people join the police force. So I wanted to ask, what are the plans so far, the strategy that the police forces are putting it together to let people to join the police force?
Services.
Yeah.
Oh, like one of the services is kind of like what the force they put together with what Casey's doing.
Okay.
You know, we're trying to get more minorities to, you know, join the job.
Okay.
And also put advertisement out there. You know, they've been doing that lately. And again, people may not see it, but we start to see more and more minorities apply for these positions than we have in the past. In the past, you could go a whole class and it'll all just be of the same race. But now we getting more success with different, you know, culture, background, all kinds of, you know, cultures joining the force.
The force, okay.
And that's all from the new recruitment, new process. Like, as time changes, policing also changes as well. So we pretty soon, and also the one thing I could tell you that I noticed is now they're trying to make it so that other, like, what they're doing is other languages.
Okay.
So if you speak multiple languages, you are most likely a preference.
If you speak multiple languages,
exactly.
Okay.
Because you're gonna be communicating with the community.
Okay.
If you don't know how to speak, like let's say Cree or Spanish, sometimes that language barrier makes it harder to communicate with people. So the recruitment has changed from since when I started the job.
Okay. So you guys being an Africans, yeah. Okay. So let me talk about our side. No, I'm an African, so definitely when I'm talking, I will try to say something.
Now, a man so they are
yeah.
So one thing
every person coming who say
one thing
we community may
okay.
address it say the most address I say
one thing I case here for the past maybe 3-4 months. Yeah, try say even at the first female.
So you don't have female.
African, no female African officer.
We don't have
Casey.
Okay.
He's been working hard to try to get at least one female African.
What's
officer.
the problem? What's
because everybody want to be nurse, doctors.
They want it.
I think some women are, if not scared, it's just because it's almost like unknown territory.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay.
And I'm a man, so it's very hard for me to try to say, oh, it's a good job, but not.
Okay.
You know, also take into account the things that women take seriously that I don't. Okay. So one thing I know is that women are mostly, not all, some want families, you know. So when they ask me certain questions about, okay, so what are your benefits, or what happens if I want to be pregnant and I don't have an answer for them, you know, that can obviously be a barrier where it probably discourages them because it's something that I can't even answer. You know, I mean, I can answer, but if I didn't have an answer for that, then I wouldn't know what to do, you know. So we're trying to make waves and everything to address certain things. And you know, time is of the factor, so I'm trying to rush into doing it. But even though I'm rushing, I want to do it right. Okay, but to me, I think again, it's just that unknown territory, you know. And I try to encourage women that, you know, we protect our women. He's on patrol right now, so he knows how it is. Where, you know, if a female officer says, "Hey, I need backup or I need help," these guys are coming. I'm coming. He's coming. Everybody's coming to help because we don't want to we want to make sure nothing happens to our women. You know?
Okay.
Yeah.
So let me ask. I was asking a question when Nana came in that you being an African, what are the things that you guys are putting in a way that can help people to come and join? I mean, help the Africans also to come and join.
For me, in Conform Mobile Station, because I work in the police station itself.
Okay.
The service division. For me, in Conform Mobile, most of the time, though, I see a lot of Ghanaians.
Okay.
I see a lot of, you know, African communities. They come.
A mobile police station.
Most of the time, they're looking for like a copy of a report. Like, you know, like that they take it. Yeah, lost passports.
Oh, okay.
We get so many of those. I don't know how they lose their passports, but every day there's a lost passport from the Ghanaians. But the thing they say.
And nobody else here, my.
And yeah, I'm back. But I'm back. Many of my casa. Not my try some more. Not my say. So because sometimes they like say make to treat. They like say I could talk to them in their native language because it makes them feel comfortable.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I said, oh, if I cry now, feel them, I catch them. So, oh, make me feel fancy. No, so make me cry. You know, they do more.
Okay.
But at the time, I'm hoping say between will be like maybe I want to have a question say.
Yeah.
Then now, yeah.
But who be sir?
Who be sir?
Wow.
Yeah. And I'm trying to change that. From the people I've talked to, like my friends that I don't want to be cops that are Ghanaian, yes. But say Obia bus station, I'm gonna be a common senti on brand, but who be that.
Wow.
For what I've been doing, they said. So I'm bar. People say, we proud that I have no age. You know, what I said, oh, okay, me, yeah, software engineer, and I like, you know, and I said, oh, you're catching yourself, or you're undecided, which means that, you know, he's Ghanaian, he's undecided, he doesn't know what he wants to do for a job. Then I go, okay, why did you say, who said, oh, police? Because, oh, maybe I'll be a minute then I could kind of like show them a little bit of what policing is and the benefits. Most of the time, the money catches their attention and then they win. So I'll talk about
the payment.
The payments. Yeah. You know, sometimes I talk to them about what we make off duty as in details and stuff like that. And then they're like, oh, okay. Wow. Then I send them information and then they look in and then they go from that way. So that's what I've been doing. They don't necessarily ask me about the position. I've been trying to just talk about it, just to kind of help people understand what it is.
Oh, okay. All right.
I know they're in here, but Modumano, they're fan and they say they're more dressy. Almost said, Lenny Bows were not near machine.
And I love your dressing.
It's very respectful.
Yeah.
You whom say, I need momentary shame or dress hair fair.
Yeah.
And the way you guys talk with boldness.
Okay.
Sure that you know the law.
Okay.
And you know, no matter what, be a police officer, or be a better and go for first you get panic. We are sure say if you grass a police officer now con and Jane.
Yeah.
So and you know, and you will be it's me a co police if one chance even or say hi, cry.
Okay.
And say, well, you're watching me.
Yeah.
That's a man of government. I say, Africa for now. As soon as I make cry, I know the 2 year old. Say, any party, what to be, I say, you're true one day, second time. Because that police says, now a bravo say.
Okay.
Into a beer, try to run away from police, some abundance and some. Now, why living a life? Into and no moment so can because. Police officer already in a machine.
Yes, sir.
All
right. So let me.
One advantage is one advantage we have here is most of the officers here grew up in the city.
Okay.
You know, we know the city very well. Sometimes Dan can attest to it. Oh, your detail. I know you've driven past me before.
Yeah, I saw you. But when I passed, I was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, someone stops and will have a conversation with you. Me, since I came here, you know, younger, I play my bobo as a auntie. I know most of
you know
people.
All angles.
My age group, you know, some people ask, you know, if I make apply, and sometimes.
Yeah, I wanted to ask the same question.
My number more will be, and I spend 2-3 hours on the phone with them of just talking to them from A to Z of what the process is like, to a point where sometimes I'll even text Casey and be like, hey, you know, this guy is thinking about joining, here's his name, if it goes further, I'll let you know. After 2 hours of, you know, my time going into it, until panic can be
wow. You don't hear from them again.
Until send who again on the street is like, hey, what send it? Nana can say uniform is, hey, why for fatao?
Oh yes.
And then may have fill the application over here, and then you spend
another
2 hours and talking to them. It's just more about, I think it's gotten to the point of taking initiative of say if people really want to there's resources, you know, like you endorse them, like the few we have, you know, then it's open to talking to anybody. Okay. I know KC's open to talking to anybody. I'm open to talking to anybody. It's just a matter of people taking initiative, you know. If you don't ask, you never know. You know?
So, but you guys have a website or?
We're working on the website.
Okay. My workshop will be to educate people how to come and join. Do you guys have ever, tried to do that kind of thing?
The workshop that actually.
Like I say, sometimes we team guys be schools.
Yeah.
So we do that. KC orchestrate that, but you call schools all the time.
Okay.
Schools here, career fairs we're there, and the last one we had, you know, not here to even just encourage that.
Okay.
when schools have a career fairs and stuff, and KC usually goes, sets up, and tries to talk to as many people as he can.
And I think recently, your department store, your friend said reading.
Okay.
They went to all the schools and then they did like reading with the your friend said all the students. Yeah, so we do programs like that to kind of like encourage kids to see police in a different way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But to see police in a different way, there's this perception that people have.
Oh yeah, leave the upper car. So it happened to me, like I think yesterday.
Okay.
My dad would be because and then their children are misbehaving. Like I say, oh, was that police?
People go for me all the time. Me ban
Yeah, I want to ask the same question because people have this. For instance, where I'm from, in Germany, even not in Germany, so YouTube. When you watch YouTube and you see how police, a kind of mentality, be a new mentality, say American police are more like abusing people on the street and stuff. And so I don't know whether it's kind of training that Muko school, you're training mu to come out and abuse people. Is it part of your training or what?
The training majority is.
Mame Emre Mukakra, or a police officer. And then I pass one. Even though say Mako we are there with Grano. It's hard for me to accept it. Say, media to Muzamba Maria. Into one urban intelligent now or one. I was so put it on the ground. Now, one.
What I was asking is, during their training, are you guys trained to be more like aggressive on people? Like one thing I've seen, for instance, because when I was coming to America before, I used to watch Americans like Police Academy or not. So when I got here and when I saw American police, the way when they stop people, the way they behave, it's different from the one that I see on YouTube.
Okay.
It's more like, hey, America, the police, you know what? You overshoot you, overboat this kind of, you shoot you, this kind of mentality that people have. That it's American, when police stop you, it's either they're going to shoot you and that. So I wanted to know, is this part of your training or?
That be and can you train at home? But the thing is that the only reason I fear the police is said most of the time no, so police stop him. So I said okay, like he gives you commands. So we see every commander, it shouldn't happen.
Okay.
Because we see you know,
okay.
Or since you did no Gina, or since okay, mommy, license, or license man, or about checking information, we are the one baby. So, they say, be wrong, unfairish, and I don't know. So, police are stopping me, and I said, be wrong, and I'm done away. There's nothing in the world of it to be on the crowd. Most of the time, half the time, don't cry. They don't want to even, bother, they want to make sure say you don't hurt somebody else, or make sure say you're okay. But half the time, we are nice to a police officer. Like when they're having normal conversations, we don't have that kind of mentality. Say we're gonna come and kick you out of the car and put you on the floor. That's more paperwork. We don't. There's no need for that.
Oh, okay.
We just want to make sure that most of the time it's all safety things. If the police will pull you over, it's all for safety reasons.
Okay.
Unless say you are wanted by the police for something major felony or whatever the situation. About that time of year, it's not a normal citizen you're pulling over.
Okay.
So you're pulling over somebody that
Okay.
that is supposed to be armed and dangerous or whatever. That's the only time they will be aggressive. But if it's just a normal routine stop,
so that means you don't need to be more aggressive when the police stop you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So the more aggressive you be, the more protection the police also have to protect themselves. Oh, okay.
And so in a way, like when we go through training, I say maybe 75, 80 to 90% of your training, is how to talk to people.
Okay.
You're spending more time on how to talk to people than we spend on any other thing, because what you mean nipa kasa, not to meet nipa say, not to meet the nipa here. Now no so to me my being so to wasia. It's a perfect exchange.
Okay.
Like Dan said, the only people are only interact here, it means there's something underneath it.
Okay.
Say Ubia bottle na police ejinano. Now question we are babusa and answer a little jumpy, a little panicky. Because you say I could be a bottle.
Okay.
But say wow call Jumana police ejinano. license when any way any me check here, have a good day. You know, but be most of the time, no, my problems, you know, are the people there's something underneath it. You're trying to hide something, and those are the people they always raise alarms on. But even those people no ground, for the most part, when you after a while, you know, you get to kind of understand where they're coming from. Will be also your many police and yeah, good interaction. And you know, my paranoid, say. But for the most part, your training is mostly just learning how to talk to people.
Okay, so you are saying the good side of Nana. Okay.
No, come be simple. Say, so you hey, you my time. Sometimes, you know, maybe I am betting any trouble by ABI or Monafu. To send your officer officer say you get influenced by your friends.
Your friends, okay.
Beer, maybe meaning no fear pass or never sabasa. No pay for school bows if them. Beer, then a short couple of people wanting the police are channel. Maybe whom police, you know, like appearance and I don't know, a man panic and send big bubbles are not to pass. Whom they are on sinker. Na me parent, you know, if it's Sankaya Wagana. Ubeti me like me or him ebia me wo say me boa me kuro no na mama asomdwe aba ho nti sebia police officer ebe frɛ obi e wo kuro mo se wa ye bone na obi akọ report no omo timi de letter eba ahemfie ana se committee for so ye hia ni pass mercy e wo police on him I met to me ntoma aso abrante ne nsa na ko police station say mo se me hwe me di she dia de no aye na ha so mo was akwan ne bia na.
Yeah, what Nana is saying in way back in, I think you have to explain. Okay, there you have to.
She's saying as far as, you know, when it comes to your parent, you get a call saying, you know, your kid has done something wrong. Like, what is the process? What is the process of going about it? You know what I mean? I know my kid is not a bad kid. Maybe my kid's friends did something and maybe, you know, they included him in it, but I know my kid was home, so what are the process of, you know, going about it?
It depends on the situation. The good thing about today is there's cameras everywhere. So a lot of times when it comes to certain things, or there's an investigation, they'll show you like, hey, this is what your child was involved with, and say, you know, even if he wasn't directly involved, he's still there, you know. So they will try to intervene. Unless it's something really, really violent, they probably won't expel the kid or anything like that. But you know, proper communication and understanding is key, and they want to make sure that not only your child but everybody else is safe. Okay, so again, it all depends on the situation. Okay, so if it's like one kid and then he's around other kids, or maybe the third one is in possession of drugs, is it something violent? No, but is it something where if we need to intervene? Yes, because we don't want drugs in our schools or anything like that. So yeah, they want to make sure that you're aware, like, hey, even though your son or your daughter wasn't in there, he was still involved. He or she was still with them.
It's more like
sure
investigation.
You keep an eye on them to make sure that, you know, they don't go down the wrong path.
Okay.
Very passionate. So I apply position police officer. Say me person me police officer. Me na make sure area I am family koto. Say be a Uber station all the time at office. Na obi ba police says no. Now what counter ho. Now we monitor omo sales ho no. And now say omo says ho.
I believe you understand, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I say
sorry, I know you don't understand.
Yeah, hi, me say
3 parts so we can also
think about it. Fair nkochi obi mra. Obi o ha no mo say o me dey ha dey. Say me kwakọ see police officer na me kwakọ chi obi na ma hango fo no. And I be a
so you want it's like you can't determine what you want to do.
And they won't determine say o the baby a person ko ye adwuma.
So for academy no, going through academy no, by the time you're passion to become a police officer, right? Go through process now here academy new year. By the time I'll be free academy no, you're very confident as far as say going on the road. I am sure but you're very confident in say when you be kasa. And for the most part, all other people are around you. They're there to help you. As far as like placement wise, maybe Dan can speak on that because he's done both sides.
Okay.
So placement part we have a bid form, and after academy, we have a bid for position based on seniority.
Okay.
Right, and that's where. So if you're on the low, if you just got on the job, but most of the time, you're gonna go where nobody wants to go.
Okay.
All right, which is mostly overnight, and sometimes it's inside, and sometimes it could be outside.
Outside.
It all depends on seniority. But the thing is, they expect you before opening the academy. They expect you to be able to do all parts of the job.
Oh,
Okay.
I mean, there's people that have graduated that just work inside, and yeah, that's true. But you should still be able to be capable of doing
outside job. Yeah.
It is a baby. We have to show that's a good it will come out.
Okay.
And if it come out, you have to understand, say, job is not for everybody, and then we'll be at a bit.
You'll be on the bit.
And they do most. I start some more year process, but they never made it.
Okay.
So Tiasi said, there's a certain requirements also to meet. It is also to me. You want to set to the fullest DR. And a bad amount. And we are lucky. That's a good said. That's a honor your position. Now, who has about and then now it's here. They said a position. I work.
And now one question say, I say way back here, you have protocols.
Yeah.
If you want to join the police academy, academy, right?
Yeah.
Is there any protocol that you have to pass through? You know.
Oh, I think so.
Sebia, for instance, Nana a grandmother in Ghana, and maybe Nana per se, Nana be join the police academy. Oh, because of Nana your grandmother, and obey me, I call the police officer. Oh, that's me, a grandmother. Protocol beside war.
I mean, we have politicians that do that here.
Okay.
Say, well, I'm such and such, whatever. But your credentials is good as long as you're not in any trouble.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think we hold anybody one above the other. Like, we have discretions, right?
Okay.
We could give discretion or whatever. But I mean, in terms of, certain passes. But at the end of the day, we act in the color of the law.
Okay.
I mean, if a police officer do something wrong, we're not gonna let them go just because they're police officers. So everything we do is based on it's all of the laws.
Papa, you were saying it say, and then I mean, be saying say, say, mate, say Ghana, me to tune to my good home. The Magura office. Now me beg and say, oh, my little brother or my town, bear maybe a war. Met me, I'm on my phone. I do my money. Recruitment.
So what happens? They say I had a Obia go through the same process. Obia go test, Obia go through academy. Obia go through. Pass. She's asking if favoritism.
Okay, so coming back to
who you are,
coming back to your job, I think say what you guys have been talking about is it's more like so easy job. The way said it was an easy job. Okay, that's what I wanted to ask. Is it dangerous? So is it dangerous to your work?
It can be.
How dangerous is it?
I mean, you don't know. Go ahead.
Me personally, the way I take it, the community is not dangerous. But when people call 911, they're not saying, "Hey, how was your day?" They're saying, "Hey, I need help. I see something. There was a stabbing. There was a shooting." They're only calling us for the most part something that just happened, either in progress or it just passed. So that's we're getting called into the danger, and it's only of the grace of God that sometimes we can go to those high intense areas and come out safely and try to protect everybody. Okay, so that part of the job is dangerous, and yes, if you believe in God, right?
Yeah.
You know that there's heaven and there's hell. Okay. There's good and bad. There's bad people out there. Okay,
Yeah.
You're not going to convince me that everybody is good. There are lots of good people, but there's bad people and that's why we're here. We need to make sure that the bad people don't run amok and start hurting people left and right for no reason. Okay, so when bad people see us, we can be a target.
Okay.
They will try to do what they can to incapacitate us so they can do whatever they want to do. Okay, so that part, yes, is dangerous.
Yeah.
But the good thing is that our chief is very good about making sure that we get the proper training. Whether it's with all the tools in our uniform or just making sure that we have the good verbal communication that we can use on the street, and knowing what you can do in your laws as far as the laws and duties as a police officer. If you don't know what you can do, you're not going to be able to fully carry out this job properly. You need to be confident and know, hey, can I put my hands on this person? What can I say? When can I say it? When can I search? When can I not? Those things are very important, because if you don't know those things, you can open up yourself to liability.
Okay. Yeah. So that means it's kind of, it depends on how you I mean, if I say how a wunipano obesi.
Yeah.
So have you guys come in face of like my face any case be that was like my radio you like
I mean, I think that me personally, not yet, but I think that there's certain things that everyone thinks of the danger side,
Yeah.
But there's also other side, and Dan can attest to this, where obi to me be boost our question unya certain calls be I say we cry who here. There's more of those than there is of the serious ones.
Okay.
Unya calls be a you sit there and you're like, about 2 weeks ago, be fresh and a papa be fresh or send a banco school in Banasi uncle in TM running in Becassa. Like, you know what I mean? Unya calls be you're like,
okay, but you have to go.
Certain times yes, certain times no, depending on what the severity of the day and the calls that are going on in the day. And everyone thinks of the intense part, but no one thinks about the the intense part is not what makes us say it's those things and I say. Oh, in your police yourself. Okay. Those things makes you question say but for the intense part, because you're joining to help people. Those intense parts, that's why we're trained, that's why you called those calls in, because that's why we took the job, those intense parts, to be the gray area between the black and white. But the little ones is when you start to be like
so like talking about the black and white, what the relationship between you being an African police and the community, what is the relationship like? How is it like? When you want to say,
for me personally, I haven't had any bad encounter with the community because of my race.
Okay.
Yeah, for the most part, no. I mean, for the normal citizen there, you're not gonna have any issues.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I only say normal because you have the people. Because for what I do, they say when I get people at their worst times.
Okay.
Because they have already dealt with another officer on the road, and they dislike us, and they coming into our cell, which is meaning I work inside the.
So you're working in which side are you, on the street or?
No, I'm inside services.
Okay.
So,
inside services.
Yeah, that's what my current position is now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, with services, he deals with the processing of the people who have been taken into custody and either have to wait to go to court.
Oh, okay.
Or sometimes he also handles certain paperwork for what do you call it? People who are being bailed out, and everything
or
like that.
even paperwork for court.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So we get to see people at their worst because they have already been in handcuffs and they're coming down to be processed.
Wow.
So they're gonna throw all kind of languages at you, but those are not normal citizens. Most the normal citizens I deal with.
Why you record them? They are not
Well,
they're more like aggressive.
Yeah, aggressive because they just got caught doing a crime.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So that's a different situation. But for what I'm talking about in terms of normal citizen not having any competition is people that come to the window. It's always respectful about what they need, rather than because they know they coming to me for something.
Okay.
That's why they came to the station. They need something. They need information or they need some type of paperwork.
Okay.
So you're not gonna see them yelling at you too much because I can just say, "Hey, massa, baby,
okay.
Who need to be wow."
Okay.
You them make kind of. I think, sir, for me, the community itself, I haven't interacted any bad negative with the community.
So far, okay.
We have a question, Kakrama officers. Don't say young Africa for as a general. Brofo ankasa high and kakra. Meti say make us say
me all this swimming brother baby na came me 1 year and come from
who say ebi amabaha me na 5 years me a citizen matra Worcester me say me police officer me say me police officer na me kone ama me test here officer kai na brofo bi ho no mo a ube we don't test it until one pass it exam see me say be anka metima ye do ba say we a mo betimi a kire o ma de say bia oh nya 10 people yen fa mo ko classroom me am kire mo English test no like in school educate you and they give you the exams to write.
Okay. More like you going to the school before taking the exam.
Yes. Say maybe you get 10 people in my church. A church say me kwa me go the rule. Actually my sorry for say hey, munko na opportunity wo. Na almost English no bro no be away si bi wo mu dey mame. Itinka kwanya bi wo ha mo betimi a group wo mo. E dey o ma fa training kakrem say bia ye kire made in general booklet bi ye kire mo kakra ama se mo control exams na I make kakra
minimum requirements no for police is like a high school diploma.
Okay. You have to have
secondary.
Okay.
So you need to have a high school diploma to even be considered.
Okay. Ne mo kan ye bo bra kakra fi say mo se me free Ghana ba me nya 5 me yes citizen metima do na police officer bi am
what they would kaka
secondary school
the secondary school. Okay, for instance okay, I'm in Ghana. Okay. I finished my university, then I moved to the state.
And your university, mostly
secondary school.
Okay, for instance, okay.
JHS.
Okay, is it good to make him the Ghana certificate number? I didn't go to the high school.
So if say ultimately or citizenship, right? At that point, no, if that means you've been here for at least 5 years, the language is a little bit familiar.
Okay.
One thing most people, and I don't know if they still do it. Now, I remember when I was in high school. Now, most our programs are they have high school for free. They teach people English. I don't know if they still do it. They teach people English. You enroll in it. It was free every night. You go, you learn English, you come home. I don't know if that's still going.
Yeah,
it's still going.
Yeah,
English. And you read that program now, there's a thing called GED. To your program now, once you feel confident with English, no, pass your GED. It's equivalent to high school diploma.
Okay.
And to all free Ghana, maybe sometimes will be about maybe let's say over 16 years. 16 years, you know. I know you're going to Uberi senior high school. Maybe all you are Ghana that. And to put me call for half a year and your diploma.
Okay.
So most people know I encourage most people to do and say, who call those programs now and I'll control GED. GED is something very basic stuff. What you GED now is equivalent to.
I understand what you're saying, but I think I think what he's trying to find out is can you use
Ghana?
Ghana
like I finished university.
No, I think it has to be the one.
So
if you have the education from Ghana, the most likely you should have no problem passing the GED. Probably just.
So that means when I come here, I have to write the
you have to get your GED.
There's no way to use a qualification from another country. You still have to get it here.
Okay. Because I know a lot of people who have been coming here with them.
Because they say first and come by next anyone and it was say we need a certificate from United States and sana or qualify to apply and you know we need GED citizenship proof of address for more than maybe a year and here in Worcester, the city that you want to
let us and sana smoke. You can't use cigarettes. Not tobacco.
That means one. Okay, now they factor me. I think now things are coming out. Before that, let's go for commercial break. You'll be back, and then the last part of the program, let's go for commercial break. Welcome back to Nake TV, and the name still remain the same, Nana Kwame Ishmael. You can call me Nake, and today we have special guests that you've been talking to, and I believe by now, no, you have learned something from what you are discussing here. It's not about something that we just like you per se casa just like that. You are learning, and I believe, sir, when you watch the video, just share the video, and then for your friend also to see what is going on. Maybe you have the interest of joining the police force in America. You can, just watch the video, and you can just leave your comment, and at the end of the day, you read your comment and you make sure that you work something out for you. And in case you need any information, you have our officers here who are going to help you to, any inquiry that you want, they are here to help us and stuff. So very soon you're going to end our conversation.
Okay, officer, before I will corner, no, can be say one.
Okay.
Because they say
the degree,
no, GED. You don't, here will be our cigarettes.
Yes.
Now, and sounds way.
Okay.
Drinking.
No,
like the procedures. That means, okay.
And then I'm
you are talking about the procedures. Who qualify to be a police officer? Okay. Are they the street? Okay. Like, who qualified to be a police officer?
Anyone. Again, so you have to at least have a GED between the age of 19 to 32. You can't use tobacco. And
you can't use what?
Smoke cigarettes.
Tobacco,
or any drugs.
What about weed?
No weed. Yeah.
Okay.
None of that.
So you don't have to smoke.
Yeah, you can't smoke. Yeah.
Okay.
Because we do drug tests, they do medical tests, they do psychological tests. They make sure that you don't suffer from any type of mental health. They check your hearing. They check your entire body. They check your heart to make sure that you can handle the stress of the job.
Okay.
And then after you pass all that, then there's the physical part where you do have to do a 1.5 mile run under a certain time, push-ups to sit-ups, and then after that, that's when you start the physical police academy.
Oh, okay.
And that's 6 months long. And in that 6 months, they teach you everything. They teach you criminal law, constitutional law, motor vehicle law, everything you need to know to be a police officer, as well as the CIT training and de-escalation skills, everything. Then after that, that's when you finally get your badge, you get your gun and your uniform, and they tell you, go have fun, hit the streets. Yeah.
FTO.
Oh, the FTO training. But you, even as an FTO, you're still a police officer. You can still make arrests and everything. You're just being trained and taught about the ins and outs of the actual police job.
Now, me person busa be mo say me want teenagers or go school. Or so bet me whilst they are in school, no, they can still be police officers and I so bet my police
like teenagers.
Age of 21.
Like age of 21
so
or
21
college.
21 now bet me a kuta too. So ideally you bet me a police officer at the age of 19. Right? Ideally. Problem is until you're 21. And being a police officer without having your tools doesn't really make sense. You know what I mean?
Okay.
See, the age is 19 to 32, as Casey said, but you can't carry a firearm until you're 21, which is why it's encouraged.
So you can join the police while you are 19 years.
No, you can apply at 19. But you can't be pinned as a badge until you're 21.
And
But the process
But
takes...
you'll be paid.
No.
You don't have a job. Yeah,
you don't have a job.
Yeah.
Okay.
Once you hit 21, you'll be all set. But you have to be 21 in Massachusetts to get a firearm.
Now, me go school so now me a police officer. I'm going to my allowance be for my school.
Yes. We have that because me.
Like while going to the school, the police too will pay for your allowance.
They pay for my tuition.
I was already a police officer before I finished my master's. So I was going to school while I was still a police officer, and they will give you some type of money towards your tuition, classes. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But you have enough help in terms of if you want to work like extra job like details and stuff like that to help pay for the school. So there's systems that is set in place to help you.
So why being a police officer can you also work in another institution?
You can. You need to you have to write something to the chief and let them know what the business and if there's any conflict with what you're doing and policing. It can be something in conflict with it. So like let's say if you want to do like I don't know, you're doing plumbing. You can still do your plumbing business while you're still a police officer, but you have to get a special permission from the chief.
Okay. So you can't just stand up and I'm just going to work extra job so that you can get money.
You just have to get permission.
Okay. So what the
na me say bisa say ebia me your mother makoto tu me say me to me allowed say me your mother me to you.
Okay.
So you have to get a license.
License to buy a gun.
License to carry.
To carry.
But
so before you want to buy a gun, you have to get a license.
License to carry.
Just like you need a license to drive a car. Same thing, a license to carry.
From who?
From the state of Massachusetts.
From the state of Massachusetts.
Okay.
Yes.
That means you have to go to Google and find out where.
So you go to your local police station. You say, hey, I want a license to get a gun.
Okay.
You fill out the application. They do an investigation. They do a background check. The same background check they do on us to be a police officer. Same background check they do on people who want to apply to get a gun.
Okay.
Once they say that your record is clear, then you take the firearms safety course, which I think is only 1 day.
Okay.
And then after you get that, then you get your license in the mail. Or I think you have to come to the police station to get it.
So you can't just stand up. You can't just stand up and go to the gun shop and then buy a gun.
Just like you can't show up to the dealership to buy a car
without a license.
Okay.
It's the same thing.
Okay.
The first thing though, where's your license? If you don't have a license, then they're not selling anything.
If you say Quema's name, Quincy, a bodra, it's me to it's your non communipa, and just powder to do some friend, and you put and you shoot on it and to perform a portrait your culture. But Hannah, you're allowed, and
there's the grandmothers, Nanano Bajo, police for say, I will trade you over to America, they over to
I may want you invited occasion be not maybe. You know, instrument, you know, I'm allowed to fire or hold a gun in the
public place.
Many are allowed to me to make a gun.
I don't know if you want to elaborate on that.
So do you understand what you said?
In Ghana, when the queens and the kings gather, when they have a gathering, part of the tradition is, you know, they fire a gun in the air. It's kind of like a warning shot. She's asking if they have a gathering here. Let's say in the summer it's a cookout. Can they fire a gun?
No. There's a crime called within 500 feet of a dwelling. You're not supposed to discharge your firearm.
The
word is gun is gun.
She's saying there's a flag gun.
It's kind of like a flag. It's just powder that they shoot.
But it can kill, right?
It sounds like a gun.
It can kill.
No, flare gun can still hurt.
But this one is just like a powder.
Somebody, just the powder.
It's a powder, and it just,
I wouldn't recommend.
What do you mean 2-2 within 500 yards of a
don't
dwelling?
shoot anything at all.
In the city, if you're in a bang, you don't have that capacity and
so
space.
for us to wrap up the whole conversation, so what the future holds for police, for we the Africans, what the future holds for somebody who wants to join the police?
I think, sir, now we are seeing more like encouraging news and more encouraging things happening.
Okay.
Like they said, they put in a program, what Katie does, and now they're doing more advertisement. So I think, sir, in the future, and as you know, as time changes, everything else changes with it. You know, so since I've been on and up to date, I've seen more minorities join the force.
Okay.
And that's something to be encouraged about, or something to be happy about.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not saying it's the end game. We still need to see more. We need to see a lot more before we can all, you know. But the thing is, I can see that the future is heading towards that way.
Okay.
Out of 382 police officers for Worcester, you only have 19 that are black.
19 black.
That's it, 19. So, like he said, we need more. That Latinos are doing very good. Even Asians are increasing. Okay. But we're losing black officers here. Okay, one retired last year and 2 left to other departments. Okay.
And I mean, they are not coming.
They're not coming back. And then we have a new academy right now, and there's no black person. None. So I have a lot of work to do. But
so you are in charge of kind of recruitment.
Yes.
Okay.
But the good thing is that there are certain measurements that I'm taking. In 2021, we took a total of the total amount of people who applied for the exam, and it was like 180. But for 2023, the total people who signed up for the police exam boosted up to 312. Okay, so almost 50% increase.
Yeah.
Okay, and out of that 312 people who applied, a good amount of them are either women or Black or Latinos. So it's working. If they're coming, it just will take time, but we still need more help from the community, because clearly, as these guys know, there's a big Ghanaian community in Africa, in Worcester. So much so, you can't go a block without seeing a Accra market. If not a market, a restaurant. If not a restaurant, a boutique hair store.
Yeah.
They're here. Okay, so we just need to make sure that we encourage them. If it's a calling to them, apply, see what we are, and see what we do. And if it's a calling, please, join.
Okay, before I better up, me person officers, me mindful in the show, Ghana, including we are singing her.
Yeah.
The person more church room, say I will for you. Yeah, my bed, any police officers now, even mothers and a giant so.
Yes.
About a beer and person,
yeah.
Into Monka be been today, I will phone. Say, Dumano, send a city, say be a mobile. You have all people behind you, until not you alone, and as I say.
What's another question?
She's asking, for the most part, the mothers in the African community thinks about the dangers of the job. What is the kind of like the way of easing that worries? It's like, I think of, we go on a call, you have an assistant officer and someone else with you, so you're never going on calls alone, right? He said, I'm gonna say, okay, if you guys can say, "Brefi hanum say for we are not say we are." Yeah, my men call. Maybe I said then, I may come home. Case making tea. For the most part, you could be and you won't. But you be a bed 3 or 4, depending on the severity of the call. Be a CEO, if you have you share from the past bed 3 years ago, you're back for the 2, you're back for your father. The moment Sarah 7 3 more people go have a kind of home. But for the most part, and you don't want to deal with anything ever. Okay. Unless a wild person no crime.
Or risky.
I know crime history of the to see if it's danger there and all that stuff. And for the most part, no. If you be man as call be and say baby at least 2. I know crime at least. But for the most part, more than 3 all the time. Yes, it's dangerous, but for the most part only probably break out. Be or doing him for 10 years, or do our say in my home for 1.5 years. Yes, you be my home for longer and different years. And he said, "You call baby, you can't 3 boom near and make a decision."
Okay, all right. So, your final word, we have a kind of final word, what kind of message do you have for the people out there who are watching us? What kind of motivation message? Any message that, especially the female side, since we don't have female, most of them are joining the health side, the nursing, the home care.
And that's fine. Again, I'm not discouraging anyone. If they want to get into health field, it is a good field. That's good. I'm more into if you're not really doing anything, and you have a clean record and you're of good shape and you feel like you can help people, I don't think that this is a bad job to get into. It's a great career. You have lots of benefits, and I can talk about that later as well. But as he said, he's on patrol. I did patrol for 10 years. It's fun. There's a lot of excitement. You do feel good when you come across certain calls where you actually do help somebody. You feel good about yourself, So that's one of the good things about this job. And the only thing that I could tell the youth who are watching is to make sure that you are careful about the decisions that you make, who you hang out with, and what you post online. Because those are the things...
What you post online?
What you post online. Because when we do background checks, we look at everything. And sometimes looking at your own personal profile is a way to try to look at who you are. So if you're online, with bad people or drugs or guns or stuff, obviously we don't want something like that. And you could be just associating, but you're not maybe directly involved.
It's very, what you just said is very, most of the people doesn't even know that when police are doing your background check, they even go to your YouTube, your Facebook, or
Facebook.
your
We check your credit.
Ex-girlfriends.
We check your neighbors.
Even your ex-girlfriends.
Ex-girlfriends.
We talk to your teachers. We talk to your neighbors. We talk to everybody. We check your credit, to make sure that you don't owe like $500,000, because we feel that okay, if you get the job and you come into some money that you owe,
you take it.
We check everything about the people, because we want to make sure that we're getting somebody of good moral standing and character to get this job, because they give you a lot of trust. Okay, we have a lot of power in this job, and they don't want people to abuse it.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I think so. What I'm gonna say is, listen, I wish if people have interest, the most important thing to do is we have a ride along program.
Okay.
Where the citizen can come right along for like just a day to see what we do daily.
Okay.
Because I think that's very important. Because you don't know what you're signing up for. For most of the time, that what if I get it and I don't like it? If you do a ride along and you kind of see what the daily normal life is, sometimes it gives you a little bit of a hint of what to expect.
Okay.
Because most of our daily interaction, the daily work, is not all high danger like people think it is.
Yes.
You see those rare events where it's like a high call cases, but 90% of our cases is like what Prince said. You're dealing with the annoyance of people calling you for nonsense, if you want to call it. So it's not as bad as they make it seem.
Okay.
You will get those high call cases. I'm not saying it's not going to happen, but I'm saying it's not rare, but it's less than the everyday thing.
It's not like the media, the movies.
It's not.
But
like
if you watch the movie,
everything is gunshots.
Everything is bad.
Yeah. I don't even remember the last time I took my gun out the holster.
Oh wow!
We don't do that.
Yeah. Because if you watch the movie and what you see online, it's most like police have to shoot every day. Police have to be more aggressive and stuff.
I just wish people would take time and just learn about it.
Okay.
Like how we did when we first got on. Because if you ask me, this is a great career. You get to take care of your family. You make enough money to do everything. But if you treat it as a job,
money day inside.
Says, no. What can you say? Like I say, police officers, more about it.
You have to.
And a dreamer, no, if they say me who say, Bia, me Ganani, me person me back, and gave you on why I scream to say, for my language. Numbers go why doctor. And Abia, man carriages on a police officer. Inti me compare Sicano and Kawaya doctor and Kubiniano, or a police officer and Kubiniano. And I mean, say, be a motorman, so most starting with degree positions, more much, not education. And the numbers who say, Abia, more, better take courses to move you faster.
Yeah, I mean,
and I say, dear Ben, I'll buy Ama. What me I call any opinion in them. Now be this can everybody work for money. And understand it. Now be my show for them so kaja.
The thing about the thing about, like Dan mentioned it earlier, the thing about it is that one thing I may start to guy about called catch him is say Ajuma way opes is ka open dudu bi up and open Juma kwa abenya.
I didn't hear.
Because over time abenya.
Over time.
Okay.
It's to a certain extent. Then I don't know if you guys can agree. You can dictate how much money you make.
It's like 2 jobs in one.
2 jobs in one.
Oh wow.
You to me dictate how much you make in a year, right? You'll be out there making more in a year than me. I put example. Me, I was a computer engineer prior to becoming a police officer. When it comes to, I know, like I said, you must be a doctor, and I said, it comes to a point of, say, also when you work, one thing that someone told me, oh, sorry, I'm not going to I said, okay, oh, and then me go compared to, sorry, I'm not, oh, and then me go like, the attitude towards your job,
and
to a certain extent, where you realize, say, is what it's more important than it's kind of obviously
yes,
but like Ubako Juma now you're miserable compared to Ubako Juma. So doing something you like is very important.
Okay.
All right. So I think so far our conversation have been one of the successful conversation. I believe you watching me, you have learned something from our conversation. And if you have not subscribed to our channel, just subscribe and then share the video. Any shout out. Well, before going, I would love to say a very special thanks to the Worcester Police. I'm using the word academy.
Yeah, Worcester Police Department.
Yeah.
And you can follow us on Facebook. We have our own Facebook page, the Worcester Police Department.
Worcester Police.
Yeah, you
okay.
can follow us on Facebook.
I wanted to come to that side, but I just want to say a special thanks to the police department for me letting me interview the officers and stuff. Special thanks to the officers, and then special thanks to you guys also for me coming. It's not easy to me have special people like you to interview them. And Nana, that's it. Special Nana Nyamisha pass your friend na obaye. In case somebody want to contact the police, or maybe somebody want to join the police force, what are the contacts? Do you have any contact?
Yes, like I told you before, not only am I the diversity, equity, and inclusion officer, but I'm also the recruiting officer. So I think I sent you my business card. I could give it to you again.
Okay, all right.
Okay, so you could email
me. That's the business card?
Yep,
all right.
Business card.
Okay.
My email is there. Shoot me an email. I am very active with my email. You can ask me anything, and I can help you.
That's the number that you see on the screen. Yeah, that's the number that you see on the screen. So you just have to. It's only for business. If you want to join, don't text and say, hey, police, I see you, I like you, those kind of stuff. Only for business. Only for business. See, that's the
business.
Only for business. No more listen. All right, so that's the number that you see on the screen, and then I think the website. You said you have the website.
We have a Facebook website, and we're working on a recruiting website, but it's gonna take some time.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So if you want, in case you want to ask any question, that's the number that you see on the screen, and you can contact them, and definitely they will have more answers to your question than me. I don't know much about it. So in case you want anything, you want to know anything about the recruitment of being a police officer, just contact the number. And your final word.
I just hope people will take this very seriously and consider it. Because I think it will benefit us, me, Prince, and every one of us to see more of the black community join the force.
Okay.
Like he said, the numbers are very low, and I think if we could get more people in there, it will actually help serve the community better.
Okay.
I know it will.
Okay. A special shout out to you.
Shout out to the uncle.
Shout out to Sergeant Miranda.
Okay. All the name of the officer that I met when I came to the office.
Sergeant Miranda.
No, the one.
Oh, the Spanish one.
The Spanish one.
That's Sergeant Miranda.
Oh, okay. I forget the name. Yeah. Shout out to you, sir. All right. Okay. That's all right.
Yes.
All right. So in case you have not subscribed, and just subscribe to Nake TV, and today. And then Nyamia Shrai, you will so, and then a police for us. My guy, Kakra. Oh, try me, I always be cool for you, In case you unsubscribe here, in case your program be now per se, and I say a baby interview, so baby I will be on a bit to me about near baby interview, and maybe I come up. Nyami shall be our share, now in your time, now if you share video, now my comments in here. God richly bless you for watching, and then subscribe, share the video. The name still remain the same. Nana, Nanka will be a better Nana.
Oh.
But Nana, when you interview, Nana said the Beba home, and then you who.
I'm in here with my.
Okay.
And a pane, Edumadia, Omoye, Madame Massey. Name the Kaka mechanic say, I dare be who I buy, Yana Makwa. Say, Mamma, faithful officers, no more tired, no more to my barber chim, actually, about time for I always say, a Drumano, about time for me, say, you're surrounding into my young ni man kasa na mo ko do ni police office services no
okay
ba se ni yetimi hu officer and mo so mo ma chirem say adwuma no enye you alone even say your frau krana there's a whole lot of officers behind you
on bebo
ho ban nti awofo mo memfa ento ya adwenem na de wadwuma mu kra say ye meye omoko school yi omo abetima ko school na at the same time once I tell my police officers ama impo no omo school fees no abai no ebe school police service no betue bi aboa wo mo senia omo nya komapa eboa usa no nti awofo ye na usa police service ase na ye ntu ye manefo na ye nkyere wo mo se adwuma no enye hu senia ye dwe no no nti ye da na KTV so ase so the time go echido ko so na sum usa man na mo ma obre enye kwa
amen all right see you then